Assalamualaikum, sir.
Assalamualaikum and very good evening to all of you. All of you are the students of Fundamental of IT. Hello. I can see Alia Rahman, Arman Ali, Nimra, Hamid. All of you are the student of Fundamental of IT.
Yes.
Yes, sir.
Okay,
Yes, sir.
fine. Okay, fine. So what was the time communicated to you for the live session?
2:30, sir.
No, it was by mistake. It is 2:30. It should be 4. We had announced it by 4 p.m. But currently we have seen that by mistake they have announced it by 2:30. So okay, no issue. We are very much here. Hamid, are you there, Mr. Hamid?
Yes, yes, sir.
Okay, fine. Now all of you are please requested to mute your microphone. Whenever it is required to ask the question, you will unmute yourself and ask the question. Fine. So before we allow you for the question answer session, I would like to summarize the 2 weeks presentations, basically what we have presented in week 1 and week 2. In week 1, we have concentrated on the fundamental parts of the computer system, where we have discussed the introduction to computer and IT, how we can define a computer system, what are various parts of the computer system. Say for example, like what is input devices, what are the processing unit, what are the storage, what are the output devices, and like that. After that, we have seen what are the various characteristics of the computer system and what are the limitations of the computer system. Next, we have discussed the history and generation of computer system, means the evolution of computer system starting from 1940, when we do have the ENIAC computer system, till date when we have very smart computers in the form of desktop, laptop, and other forms of computers. So we have discussed all these evolution part in the form of first generation computer, second generation computer, and like that till the 5th generation computer. In next part of our lecture, we have discussed with you what are the various software components of the computer system, means what are the software program, what we call operating system, what are the compilers, what are the interpreters, and like that. In the operating system, in the software part, we have mainly concentrated on the application software as well as on the system software. In system software, we do have operating systems like again compiler and interpreter, and we have discussed various types of operating systems, including Windows, DOS, Unix operating system, Ubuntu operating system, and like that. Whereas in the compiler, we have discussed various types of compiler and interpreters, which are used to convert the high level language into the machine level language. In the next part, we have discussed various types of computer memory and its classification. So what are the primary memory, secondary memory, cache memory, virtual memory, like that. And we have seen various types of memory, HDD, SDD, and like that. So this kind of things has been discussed in other lectures, basically. And at the last, we have concluded the week 1 discussion by enumerating the prominent applications of computer in various areas like healthcare. What is the use of computer and how the computers are being applied in the healthcare, education system, business environment, entertainment industry, and for scientific research. So we have discussed all these things in the first week. In the second week, our main emphasis was on how the data is represented in the computer. So whenever we talk about data representation, because computer, as all of us know, that they are the electronic device, they only understand the language of binary language. I mean to say the language of voltage on and voltage off, means if you can call it one state, on state, of a state, you can call it other state. You can simply represent it by 1 and 0. So the language of 1 and 0 is known as the binary language. So in another word, we can say that the computer only understands the language of 1 and 0 or the binary language. So all the data basically are represented in binary system. So what are the various binary systems like binary system, octal system, hexadecimal systems using which the data is represented in the computer? So we have seen the binary representation, octal representation, or hexadecimal representations of that. Further, we have discussed the ASCII code and Unicode. Other way, these are the various ways of representing data in the computer system. We have also discussed in the next part various number system conversion. How one type of data, say for example, binary number is converted into octal number and octal number into decimal number and so and so. So we have discussed this thing in another lecture. After that, we have emphasized on how the data is processed basically. Whenever we have data, we collect the data from various sources and we process it to gain some information or to convert it into information. So how these processes are being done, that is discussed in the ongoing lectures of the second week basically. So we have discussed data collection, data input, how we can process the data, how we can store the process data, and how we can convert or how we can represent the process data in the form of information and like that. And after this, we have seen the applications of data representations in the terms of cryptography, machine learning, compression algorithms, computer graphics, and networking. So we have seen all these things during the second week of discussion. Now, for your information, third week of lectures has already been uploaded over there, which basically deals with the computer network. So computer network is basically the collections of various computers, interconnected computers, which can talk to each other or which can communicate with each other. So what are various types of computer networks? Say for example, what is the LAN, local area network, wide area network. Another example is their personal area network, PAN. So we have discussed in these video lectures various types of networks, how the networks are set up, what are the uses and what are the goals of setting of computer network. And we have also discussed various networking topologies. Networking topologies means how different computers can be connected with each other to form a working computer network. So there are various ways of connecting the computer that is known as network topologies. Bus topologies, there ring topologies are there. So we have discussed all these forms over there. And at last, in the third week, we have discussed the networking devices. What are the devices using which we can connect our computer and devices to form a computer network? Like the routers are there, switches are there, gateways are there. These devices are used to form a computer network. So we have discussed all these things in the third week. So these are basically the summary of week 1, week 2, and week 3 lectures. With us, we do have basically Dr. Faraz Masood. He will explain you all the things in much more detail for week 1 and week 2 lectures over there. Fine. And finally, we will be opening for question answer sessions. So if you have any question and answer, then you can ask the question and answer, or even you can write your questions in the chat box and we will try to answer your questions over there. Before I leave, I would like to inform you that those who have registered for the course, means enrolled in this course, but due to any reason could not enroll or register for the examinations, they are please requested to get themselves registered for the examination, because the last date for registration for examination is 28th. Means by tomorrow you can register for exams. After that, you will not be able to register for the examinations. So with this, now I will request Dr. Arman Rasool Faridi, are you there, sir? Sir, Professor Arman, are you there? Not. So, okay. So now I will request Faraz Masood. Dr. Faraz Masood will discuss with you the week 1 and week 2 lectures. And after that, we will be opening ourselves for question answer sessions. Thank you very much.
Good afternoon, everyone. Before that, if you have any question, specific question, I will move forward with that. If you have any question, you can ask me. Otherwise, I will go with the summary of the previous weeks.
Sir, I have a question.
Yes.
Sir, can you please explain kernel?
Okay. So in the lecture, what is a computer? A computer is made up of software as well as hardware. So how is software interacts with a hardware? Can anyone explain me? Because software is just a binary code. Now you want that software to interact with the hardware. So how, what software we use to interact with the hardware? Can you hear me?
Yes, sir.
So basically, when you see the architecture of operating system, we have hardware, and above that we have kernel, then we have scripts or shell, then we have application softwares. So to understand the language, or you can say that to translate softwares into a language that can be understood, into a machine language that can be understood by a hardware, we need kernels. So every operating system have kernel, and that kernel interact with the hardware and perform our task. Now take an example. Suppose we install a new hardware like a mouse or a new USB device. What is required? We need to install a device driver. That device driver interacts with kernel, and then kernel interacts with the our hardware. So one more thing is why we need kernel. We need kernel because we don't want the user software to directly interact with the hardware. It increases the security level. So that's why kernel is required. And take an example like we have Linux. Linux is a kernel, and above that we have many operating systems like Ubuntu, Fedora, or even Android. So basically, you can say that kernel is required to have interaction with the hardware. So someone asked, the most important question that you all asked was about the notes. So you will get the notes or not? In future, you will get all the notes, but as you are students of computer science, you are not students of computer science, but to study anything, it is required that you should, whenever you are studying in an online mode, it is required that you always sit with copy and pen. So if you don't sit with copy or pen in 10 or 15 minutes, you will lose focus and you will feel sleepy. So the most important thing is try to make notes from the lectures, and in future you will get all the transcripts as well as PPTs if required. Don't go for the screenshots or printing or ChatGPT type of things for making notes. Try to make your notes in copy, then study that and prepare for the assignments. One more question someone asked was, what is the difference between flash memory is whether secondary memory or primary memory? So flash memory is both, can be both secondary memory or primary memory. If you have any other question, you can ask me. Another common question that you all ask is the mode of examination. Mainly mode of examination will be objective type questions, but that will include MCQ as well as MSQs. MCQ is multiple choice question. That means in one question you will have 4 options. Out of those 4 options, one answer will be correct. And in MSQ, there will be a question and there will be 4 options. Out of 4 or 5 options, there can be more than one answer that can be true. As well as you will have fill in the blanks. Remember that whenever you are answering the fill in the blanks type of questions, you have to write exactly what is the answer. Means suppose answer is operating systems, then use operating systems. Don't use operating system. Otherwise, you will be marked wrong. So similar things needs to be followed during assignments as well. Any other question? So I will start with the summary of the previous weeks. First, you were taught course syllabus and structure. The course was structured into weekly sessions covering fundamental to advanced topics in computer science and IT. We explored computer components like software, hardware, operating systems, memory classification. In Introduction to Computer and IT, we studied what is computer. Now, please tell me what is a computer? What is your understanding about computer? And how often you use computers?
So computer is electronic machine and processing of the device.
A computer is a
Electronic machine
device.
and programming language of the computer system.
Can you speak louder?
Hello, sir. Hello. I can hear me, sir.
Yes, I can hear you. Please speak louder.
Okay. Sir, computer is electronic machine of the programming language or the understanding of the process language.
Okay, anyone else?
Sir, an electronic device that can store data and process a large amount of data quickly.
So, why it is necessary to process large amount of data quickly? This is a live session, interaction session. So I will ask you questions. To store data as well as to process data, large amount of data. So why we need to process large amount of data? Or you can say that what is the actual use of computer systems? We process large amount of data to understand the meaning behind that data. So that is okay. Give an example where you process large amount of data. Do you use computers or not? Give an example where you use computer. Is cell
Banking,
phone a computer?
sir.
Yes.
Business purpose.
For business purposes, we need computer. But just tell me, do you use computer on a regular basis or not?
Yes, sir.
So if you have a mobile device, is it considered a computer or not?
So most like.
Most likely.
Yes, sir.
Does it process data?
Sir.
Does it process data? Does a mobile phone process data or not?
Yes, sir. Process purpose.
So whatever device that processes data is a computer. Then we have studied about input devices. Can you name some input devices like except keyboard, mouse, scanner? Can you please list some more input devices?
Sir, mic.
Mic that you are using right now, it's an input device, and something else. Mouse is there, keyboard is there. So what about your touch screen?
Sir, monitor.
What about your touch screen? Is it input device or not?
Can be.
Yeah, it is. As well as it is an uh, Is it is an output device or not? What do you think? The functionality in touch screen, by touching, we are giving some input, and the display features of the same thing, we are getting the output. So input devices, in whatever way we can give input to a computer system, it is an input device, and in whatever way we are taking output from the computer system, it is called output device. Now you have heard and we have discussed about storages. We have hard drive, SSD, RAM, any other storage device? Have you heard about?
So, like pen drive.
Okay, pen drive. What do you
Yes,
think?
sir.
It is a primary storage or secondary storage?
Sir, primary switch.
Primary,
The floppy disk.
floppy disk. So floppy disk, what do you think? These are primary storage or secondary storage? So can anyone tell me what is the difference between primary storage devices and secondary storage devices? Anyone?
Primary
So
are
primary storage devices
primary
are directly they are directly contact with the computer's processor.
Okay. And secondary? So basically
They
primary memory is
these
directly connected to the
devices we
CPU.
are additionally we connect them to the computer system.
Okay, so normally any software or any data resides in secondary memory. Now, suppose we want to run any program, so that program is loaded from secondary memory to the primary memory. And then primary memory directly talks with the CPU to process our task. The input is taken from primary memory, and then output is again given back to the primary memory by CPU. Now the question is why we need primary memory, why we can't connect secondary memory directly to the primary memory? What is the reason for that? So the main reason is primary memories are very fast as well as they are expensive. We can't keep all the data in primary memory, but for processing, as CPU is very fast, as compared to that primary memory is very slow, and as compared to that secondary memory is very slow. So to speed up our task, we need primary memory. We keep all the program which is in running mode in the primary memory. And there are other concepts as well that it will be regularly pages are swept from operating system to the primary memory. But basically, the thing is to increase the speed and to make it cost effective, we need both secondary memory as well as primary memory. Now, in your mobile system, can you name it? What is the primary memory and what is the secondary memory? In your mobile phones, handsets, you have primary memory or not?
Yes, sir, RAM. When
RAM is there. So
yes, sir.
RAM is one of the most important primary memory.
Yes, sir.
Whenever you want to execute any task, first you need the data to be loaded from secondary memory, and then when it is loaded in the RAM, it is then processed by the system computer CPU. Now another question is, we use secondary memory. What is the purpose of secondary memory then?
Sir, was to
To
पोर्टेबल रहता है सर वो परमानेंट भी कर सकते हैं
we mainly use secondary memory to store data permanently. So suppose we switch off our system, so data is permanently stored in the secondary memory. But whatever data was there in RAM, it is removed. Whenever you load the system, boot the system again, then OS files will be loaded in the RAM. Then if you want to execute any software, those files will be loaded in the RAM. Only then it boots again. So secondary memory is mainly used to store data for longer period of time. Where does our operating system resides? Secondary memory or primary memory?
So permanent.
Normally, our operating system resides in the secondary memory. Then when we boot the system, after booting, the control is given to the hard disk, and then operating system is loaded in the RAM, and then interaction is done. We can see the GUI, and every icon can be displayed. All things reside in the RAM. That's why as the operating systems keeps on advancing, we need higher amount of RAM. Normally, Windows 10 or 11 needs 4 to 6 GB of RAM if you want to run it properly. So that's why primary memory is also necessary. Next is characteristics of computer system. Computer systems are used for automation. Normally, we are using computer system for automation. Can anyone explain what is meant by automation? Can we automate things in using computer? Have you done any task that you automated using operating system, computer system? Please interact. This is an interactive session. What is meant by automation?
ऑटोमेटिक मतलब वर्क करता है.
Suppose you want to perform any task or in a predefined time, then you can automate those type of things as well using computer systems. Suppose I want to send daily reports to my supervisor, so that can be done using computer science system. I will add an event in the operating system, then that event will be triggered automatically when the particular time is reached. Similarly, there are many tasks. Now you may have heard about artificial intelligence. We have ChatGPT and other LLMs. So with AI, we can automate many things. So automation is the future. If you are looking for a career in computer science, then automation is the future. Now, not just these systems. Can you give me an example where automation can be done using computer systems?
Yes, sir.
Yes.
ChatGPT, sir.
No, ChatGPT. With ChatGPT, you can get results related to data or images, but you are not automating anything. I want to know any except computer systems where we can do automation. I told you one of the characteristics of computer science, computer system is that we can automate the things. So I want to know any example where we automate things using computer systems in any industry.
Sir, in banking,
In banking, how do we automate things?
to execute large databases.
To execute, just take an example of banking. We can automate salary dispatch with banking systems. Now in good industries, you will automatically get salary on the last date of your of that month. So how it is done? It is done by automation. But the main usage is in manufacturing industries. We can automate many machines where we usually use manual labors. Like we can detect which thing is not suitable to eat, then we can remove that using computer systems. They can detect using IoT. We can detect whether there is contamination in any food or not. We can even detect problems in any hardware solutions. Similarly, we can use CCTVs to detect any theft or any unusual activity. So these are automations that can be done using computer systems. Can you tell me limitation of any of computer system? Any limitation? What do you think that you feel that this is a limitation of computer system?
Lack of creativity.
Lack of creativity. Now we are moving in that world that creativity will also be there. Do you know that with ChatGPT type of things, we can just give them a
Cyber
prompt.
fraud.
Cyber fraud is there, yes. Now, this is a good point, like cyber fraud. Now, suppose you are using a webcam in your laptop and it is not properly managed. That means that anyone, if your system is hacked, can see you via that webcam. So this is one of the the major problem of computer science, that we are compromising our privacy as well as our security too much. Many people don't know that if you are not able to give permissions properly in your Android system, you are fully what can I say? You are fully exposed to the outside world. Have you ever experienced that you are talking about something and you will get an advertisement for that? How it is happening? Can anyone have any one of you experienced that you are talking about something and immediately you will get the advertisement about that?
Artificial intelligence, sir.
Artificial intelligence is there, but you in your mobile you have not given proper permissions, and they are the softwares, the apps, they are capturing your details, and by that your privacy is compromised. Suppose you feel that any software is very secure, but it is not that software is only capturing your data. Any other app is also capturing your data. Suppose you have a game application and you have WhatsApp. Now that game application can see your gallery, and whatever photos you received, whatever videos you received via WhatsApp can be captured by that game app, and then it can analyze your data. So it is very necessary that we should maintain our security. I think that will be covered in future lectures as well. So the major problem is privacy and security. So all of you should be aware that computer systems are very bad in terms of privacy. Any other problem that you face, that you find in computer systems?
Dependence on power.
What? They consume power. Global warming is one of the main issue.
Yes, sir.
For not just that they consume power, but to keep them cool, we need air conditioning systems. Suppose there is a lab, so in that lab, if you have installed only computer systems, then it will be too hot, and for that you need air conditioners. Then there is a global warming. So these are the important points. Now history. If you go back to the history, the first generation was from 1940 to 1956, and then in 56, then we are here in fifth generation. What do you think? What will be the future of computer systems? AI is already there, so AI can automate your task. But what do you think? What will be the future? Can it be enhanced or not?
Yes, sir.
It is enhancing day by day.
Yeah, it is enhancing day by day, and with quantum computers, it will be enhanced too much. The world will be very different. So you can't accept that or feel that this is just the end, or this is the we are very late in computer science. We don't know what will be the future. It can be very, very fast, but very, very typical. Even we are not using VRs, virtual reality, or automation to that level. We can automate everything in future. Now, you know what is a computer program? We know about you know about the softwares, but what is a computer program? So you are studying fundamental of computer IT. In future, suppose you want to go and you want to work as a computer software programmer. So what will be the task of the software programmer or system programmer?
To execute instructions.
We have to write code for our clients, and whatever requirement they have, we have to do that. We have to write the code for that. So whatever we write, set of instructions in any programming language, that is called program. When we convert that program into an executable that includes all the library files, etc., that is called a software. So you may have experience whenever you are installing a software in your system, then at that time they ask to install other things as well. So these other things are libraries which needs to run those software. So program is a piece of instruction that you will write in any programming language. In future, if you will go for coding, then you will write a program. Then the final output of that program, that will be a software. So suppose VLC. What is VLC? VLC is a software. The program behind that will be written by the programmers of that software. Okay. So how can we write program? So there are various languages like C, Java, Python. Depending on the requirement, we can choose our language and we can start writing our programs. Now next topic is types of software. We have system software, application software, middleware, firmware. So can you tell me what is system software? Sadia, can you please tell me what is system software?
Hello, sir. Can you hear me,
Yes.
sir?
Sohail, yes.
The computer software is, sir, like Microsoft.
Microsoft is a
And
company, but Windows is an operating system.
Sir,
Hmm?
sir, system software uh, is what that there is no interaction with users.
Okay. So system softwares normally interact with they are near to the hardware. Okay. Then we have application softwares. So can you name any application software that you regularly use? What is this? WebEx? You are using WebEx. Is it a system software or application software?
Applications.
Application. Suppose you are using WebEx software or you are using WebEx over Chrome, then both the cases you are using application software. So normally, see, there are various users of computers. Some are like programmers, they create programs and softwares for other users. Some are just users. So those users who are just using computer as a utility, for them we normally use application softwares. They don't care about that much about system softwares. But for programmers or developers, they care about system softwares as well because they directly interact with the hardware. Then we have middleware. What is meant by middleware? So suppose you want two softwares to talk with each other. For that, we need middleware that can translate the languages of both the softwares. In vague term, I am explaining this. So if two software want to interact with each other, we use middlewares. Now, most important is one of the most important is firmware. What do you think? What is firmware?
the firmware is a security software, I think.
No, no. Firmware is a software installed on hardware component. So let me ask you a simple question. When we boot our system, the control goes from hardware to operating system. Now, how that happens? How the control? How system knows that I have to boot this operating system? So for that, we need firmwares. Means in every hardware, we need some firmware that will boot the operating system. You may have experienced that in your mobile phone. Suppose your operating system is dead. Even then you can go to a menu that is firmware menu. The software is pre-installed there. We use the options and then we can connect with our operating system, or we want to wipe it or we want to load anything else. We can do that using that firmware software only. Similarly, when no operating system is installed in any system, even then you can interact with the hardware. The menu that you get, it's BIOS menu, suppose it's pre-installed in the in the memory, which is known as firmware. Now we have already discussed about kernels. Next is compiler. What do you think? What is compiler? We have compiler, interpreter, parser, and assemblers. So first tell me, which language does a hardware understand? Suppose we have control unit or we have CPU. So which language does it understand? Language means what does it understand?
Coding, binary.
It only understands binary. But do you write any binary in your system?
No,
We
sir.
don't write. We don't write any binary. Okay. Even when we are coding, suppose we are coding in C language. So there is a predefined syntax. We write that code, then we compile that code, and then when we execute that code, it will be loaded in the RAM, and it will talk with the hardware in the form of binary. So how to convert a high level, these are different type of languages, like C is a high level language. So how to convert these type of languages into a binary code? For that we need compiler, interpreter, parser, and assembler. Assembler is the nearest one. After assembler we have machine language. Then we can directly use machine language. Suppose you want to learn coding and you want to go near the hardware, then you will use, firstly you will use assemblers, and then if you want to learn basic coding in the beginning, then you will use compilers or interpreters. So Python is an interpreted language. That means when you will learn write a program in Python, it will be interpreted. You will need Python interpreter to convert that to machine language. Okay. So normally these terms, compiler, interpreter, parser, and assemblers, are used with when you are writing a code, and then you are converting that code to make it executable and run in the primary memory. Next, we have studied about different type of operating system, like batch operating system, time sharing operating system, real-time operating system, distributed operating systems. So what is mean by real-time operating system? What can you understand by the term real-time? Arman Ali, Sana, Simran, please interact.
Sir, manage task in a real time
So
and
what is meant by
events.
real time? So suppose you are using WhatsApp and you are writing a message. Okay. So after how long it is received by your friend whom you have sent the message? Suppose you are sending a message to your
Sir, in
friend,
seconds.
not seconds. Even if he's typing, you can see that he's typing. Okay.
Yes, sir.
That means you can see that something is happening in the real time. That means it is happening just now, just like he's just near you. But take the example of email. When you send an email, it may be received after 2-3 minutes or 1 minute or 10 seconds. It is not immediate. So real-time operating systems works like that as well. Suppose you are using very critical system, and suppose you are using a system where you need data immediately, otherwise something may go wrong. For that you will need real-time operating systems. Similarly, there is new version that is now starting, that we are also getting operating systems which can understand large languages as well. So we are moving towards operating systems as well. That will be updated soon in future as well. Now, next we have memory classification, primary memory, secondary memory, cache memory, and virtual memory. So have you studied about virtual memory? What is virtual memory? You may have heard about primary memory, secondary memory, cache memory. What is virtual memory? Okay, I will give you a question. Suppose you are loading a software which is of size 4 GB, but your RAM is only 2 GB. So how it will be executed? What do you think? It will be executed or not? So whole memory can't be loaded directly to the primary memory. That means everything can't be loaded in your RAM. that will reside, the chunk of that software will reside in the secondary memory, and swapping will take place based on the requirement. Suppose you need a part of software immediately, that will be in the RAM, but soon as you are not using that chunk of memory, it will reside in the secondary memory. So that type of memory that we use, that part of memory, secondary memory that we used for swapping of pages, that's virtual memory. Okay, that by that way you can extend your RAM. So I am giving you one task, that if your memory is low, try to search how can I extend RAM using pen drive. So if you want to boost your system speed, you can convert your RAM, your pen drive like a virtual memory, and the execution of some softwares can be moved to that, and it will be fast. So virtual memory is that. Application areas, you know that health computers are used everywhere nowadays, like healthcare, education, business. Suppose you are in chemistry, can you explain how can you use computer science in chemistry? Or suppose you are in English, how can you use computer science in English? Based on your stream, please explain where you can use your computer science in your stream. Alia Khan or Hamid or Ira Muruj, Sana. So computer science is used in every stream nowadays. Suppose you are a Hindi mainstream, a major subject, your major subject is Hindi. So even then, computer science is required nowadays in every field. Even now, see, the lectures are taking place online. For that as well, you need computer science. You need to know about computer systems and many other things. In future, jobs will mainly be based on, if you don't know computer science, you will be very much behind. So in every area you can find that. Now even in creativity, as someone told me that in creativity, computers are not creative, but now with large language models, creativity is also very high. They, whatever you write, you will get the image for that, you can get the video for that. So if you want to excel in your field, it is necessary that you should study computer science, and you should know how can I use computer science more efficiently in my task. So moving to week 2, we have data representation. Why we need data representation? That's the most important question. Can you explain me why we need data representation? Again, the question is how we store data. We store data in binary, ones and zeros. So data representation part covers that, how to convert human readable text form to a binary form. Now, suppose your name is written like Sana. Now you want to store that name in binary format. So how to convert that? Can you explain me how to store a text in a binary format? Can we store text in binary format or not? You are storing text in binary format. So in that part, we have covered that how the data can be represented, can be converted into a binary format, and again from binary to human readable format. So that part was covered by in data representation. Similarly, number system, how in that part we have how to store numbers in the system in your memory. So there are different type of conversions we have talked about, like binary to decimal conversion, decimal to binary conversion. Why we need binary to decimal conversion? Again, the same thing, that suppose number is the entity is a number which is a decimal number. How we represent that decimal number in binary format so that it can be stored in the memory and it can be retrieved from the memory. So this topic was covered in week 2, which is I think ongoing week. If you have any questions regarding that week, you can ask me. If you have any questions, you can ask me. Otherwise, we will wind up this session. We will have more interactions in the future. But until these 2 weeks, if you have any question, please ask me. Okay, I can't see any, or you can ask me in chat as well. So no one is asking any questions, so I will wind up this session. We will interact in the future. Remember that if you have not registered in exam, last date is tomorrow. So 28th of Feb 2025, register it before that. If you missed, if any of your friend missed the enrollment part, now he can't join because date will not be extended. So communicate with them, and if you are one of them, then you should know that.
Sir,
So
what about exam for center, Aligarh?
yes, exam center is now Aligarh. If you have opted for Aligarh. If you have opted for Aligarh, you will get Aligarh. If you have not opted for Aligarh, then you can cancel your registration and re-register in Aligarh. So that can be done, but last date is tomorrow. Do it before that. After that, you can't cancel your registration and you can't re-register. Okay, then I will wind up this.
Sir, one more question.
Yes.
Is it exam will be taken by university or by SWAYAM portal?
It will be taken by NPTEL. Okay. So
Okay, sir.
again, in exam, regarding exam mode, they will arrange the paper similarly that is arranged for NET or NEET. Okay, you have to go there, systems will be there, you have to answer in those systems, and even the results will be displayed by them. Okay.
Okay, sir.
Any other question? Okay, then I will wind up this lecture. Thank you. You can interact with me personally as well in computer science department, or you can email me. Okay.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you.
हो गया
जी.